All right, so this is called the law of sines. Now, the one thing that needs to happen in order for us to use the law of sines is I have to know one angle and one side across from that angle. That's necessary, okay? So the example that they give us in the book is the following. Let's follow it through now. 30 degrees, 70 degrees, C, B, and 13. Okay, so again, our goals for this whole unit is to find the measure of the three sides we don't know and the measure of the three angles we don't know. That's our goal throughout this section. So what are we missing right now? Well, we're missing side A, we're missing side C, and we're also missing angle C. So the first thing I do is knock off the easy one, which is angle C. Angle C is 80. Right? Okay, so you got the right thought process down. The three angles add up to 180. 30 and 70 make 100. 180 subtract 100 is 80. So we've got that. So now, I want to always use the given information to solve what I'm looking for. So I'm always going to use, to find A and C, I'm going to use the B1 both times. So what I want to do is if I want to find side A, I go A over. And what's the angle across from side A? 30. So I go A over sine A, so sine 30, is equal to B, which is 13 over the sine of 70. Okay, calculator's out. Make sure that we know how to do this on our calculator, so take them out. Bless you. All right, so I want sine 30. I want to get rid of it, so I multiply it up by 13 and then divide that by sine 70. Okay, so sine 30 times 13 divided by sine 70. Get your calculators out and get going on this. What do we get? A little louder. 6.9? Okay, let's do it to three decimal places. 6.917. Well done. Okay, great. So now I've got the measure of A. Now I want the measure of C. So I go C over sine 80 is equal to 13 over sine 70. C is equal to
13.64. How do you punch into your calculator again? Sorry.
Sine 80
times 13 divided by sine 70.
what he said. Sine 80, close your bracket, Cameron, times 13, divided by sine 70, close your bracket, it equals. Get that answer.
I got negative 16.
Okay, you are in, go to your mode right now. Find mode. See it?
Yeah, it says normal.
Now go down to where it says degrees and radians and make sure it's on degrees, because right now it's on radians. Yeah. Okay, so change it to degrees, hit enter. Okay. Okay, now go second function, quit, which is the top button.
Oh. It's in degree.
Okay, so
I just hit enter, then I hit exit.
Okay, so what's the first key indicator? The quick one. If I don't have a lot of time on the test, what's the quick one to look for to see and make sure I've got it right?
The longest side is opposite the greatest angle.
Greatest angle. Okay, so the largest angle is 80. The largest side is 13.624. Smallest is 6.917, smallest is 30. Probably a good chance. Now what you could do, if you had time on your test to check, is take 6.917 divided by sine 30. Write down that value. It should be exactly the same as 13 divided by sine 70. Okay? And that's how we can check our answer for it. Okay so far? Any questions? All right. Okay, let's look at the second example then. All right, this one's a little bit different. Okay. All right. Now, what are the angles that we're missing?
C and
A and C. Okay, so I need angle A, I need angle C, and what else do I need? What is it?
Side.
Side C, that's right. Okay, so first things first. I have to have a side and an angle across. So in order to get this question, what is the first thing? What's the first piece of information that I can actually solve for using the law of sines right now?
Angle A.
Angle A. Okay? Angle A because I know the length of the side across from it. So this time when I do this question, I'm going to actually put the angles on top. It eliminates 2 steps in the math. So I'm going to put the angle on top. So sine A,
Do you invert it or -1?
Yeah.
Okay.
anytime you find it. So sine A over 20 equals sine 36 over 13. Okay? So the math is very similar with one catch. I've got to go 20 times sine 36 divided by 13, but then I need to go second function sine to get A by itself.
For each of them, anytime you sign.
Anytime you use to find the angle, that's right. So, Amron, in your case right now, on the calculator you're using, some of you may want to listen to this. All right? If you have your graphing calculator, the first thing you punch in is second function sine. It will open a bracket for you, and then you put 20 times sine 36 divided by 13, close the bracket. It'll do it all for you in one quick step. Okay? So some of you, that's an option for you. Take your second function sine, so go sine -1. Open a bracket though. You have to do that. If it doesn't do it for you, open your bracket, and then go 20 times sine 36 divided by 13 and close the bracket. Okay? So let's find out what angle A is. A little louder, please.
I got an error doing that, but I think I know.
Okay, I'll have a look. So, okay, if you got an error, what I want you to do now is I want you to take 20 times sine 36 divided by 13, hit enter, and then do second function sine of that. You have a question?
No,
You already had the answer.
64.73.
You got 64?
727.
Yeah.
64.727.
727.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay? Who does not have it working on their calculator? You got to know when it's not working so that I can look at your calculator.
Give me Grace.
Yeah.
What did you put in your calculator?
I put in
You're
like
excellent
that
right up to
first
this
thing,
point.
like,
So now you go
graph
shift
calculator
sign.
though,
Okay?
but it didn't work for
And
me.
in this
It's a
case,
math
you just
error.
put
So what did you put in
You
yours?
did it after.
Do that.
So I did
Because you
20
got it.
times sine
So what I would
36.
suggest you do though,
Divided by
because your
13.
calculator is
And
more
then second
sophisticated.
function
Is
sine.
that goes second function side.
Oh, yeah, enter first.
Now punch it in. So
And
once
then
you've done
second
that,
side.
now punch it in.
You did it, you just didn't say like.
Times sine 36. You gotta close the bracket on the side.
I know.
Divide by 13.
Or did you just get that done?
Oh, your calculator is enough that it'll do it all in one swoop. Yeah.
Maybe I'm gonna start wearing like How did you do it? What if I If I covered my whole bush, I'll never be
That'll be good.
I'll do it.
That's confusing. So you're saying 20 times the negative sine 36 divided by sine. I feel like calculating
Does that work?
No.
Divide by 13 and then close the bracket again. Okay?
Anybody else?
Put it up like this. Open bracket. Now punch it in.
Oh, that's
Times sine 36.
It doesn't matter. Like,
So you can do it 20 over sine.
yeah,
Close that.
absolutely.
13 over sine.
Yeah, and together in
Oh, okay.
like that's part of the notes we took yesterday.
Every time you hit like sign, you have to make sure your numbers are in bracket.
Side 8 is divided by sine.
Okay, so I have A now.
Equal.
Now that I have A, now this is one of the rare instances that you are going to solve for C using something you already solved for. I don't like it usually because if I made an error on this and then I solve for that, it's also going to be wrong, right? But in this case, I don't have a choice. I don't have enough information to solve for C, for angle C or side C without using this. So now I'm going to take 180, I'm going to subtract 64.727 and subtract 36, and that will give me what C is. So put that in, please.
Subtract 30. 79.273.
Okay, 273. Sounds about right. Okay, so now that I have angle C, I can find side C. So side C, just going to extend the page a bit. Whoops. Side C over the sine of 79.273 is equal to, and what did I use first? 1336. 13 over sine 36, and you can calculate what C is. Okay, so now you've got sine 79.273 times 13 divided by sine 36. A little louder?
21.73.
We agree?
Or no, wait. Then it's 0.
Sorry,
It's
say that.
0 after 39.
Oh, sorry. Okay, thanks. Okay, there you have it. Okay? All right, flip over to page 68. I'm going to do one more example with you. Once you get this down, once you have a good understanding of this, it's not very difficult because all you're doing is multiplying and then dividing, basically one time. And then when you find an angle, it's just second function. So it's not that tough. The difficulty in this section comes in when we have to actually read the problem and draw our diagrams. So you want to get really good at this part of it, because once you have to read the problems and then draw your own diagrams, that's where it gets a little more complicated. A triangle has angles measuring 75 and 60. The side opposite the 75 angle is 14 meters in length. Determine the length of the side opposite the 60-degree angle. So we'll find all of them. Okay, so again, pretty open. You can put your angles wherever you want. A, B, C, you can label them whatever you want. It has two angles, so 75 and 60. It gives us the side length across from it is 14. All right? So now I want you to find the missing angle on the other two sides. So I want you to go on your own right now and try and find that. I'll give you 5 minutes to do that. Okay, so you want to find angle C, side C, and angle A. All right? And if you need a hand, put up your hand. All right. Just have a look up here for 1 second. I know some of you are done, some of you aren't finished yet. Just have a look up here. Here's my ratios. Okay? So right now, looking at this, what is the obvious thing that I could solve for? There's two of them that I could solve for right away. What are the first two things I could solve for if I'm looking at the setup that I have right here? Side A for sure, right? Because I would just take this times this divided by that. Correct? But what's the more obvious one that I should have, Paige? Angle C. Angle C, it should have been the first thing I solved for, right? Because 75 and 60 and angle C make 180. So what did this work out to?
45.
45 degrees. Okay, so now, what does it look like I need to solve for?
Side A and C.
Side A and side C. All right, and so then it's sine 60 by 14 divided by sine 75. Sine 45 times 14 divided by sine 75. Okay, so angle C we said was 45 degrees. Side A, sine 60 times 14 divided by sine 75. What'd you get?
12. 502.
12.502?
552.
552?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I live by them, so I don't know if it's my orders.
And then side C was
10 and 249.
0.249. Okay. All right. How many of you got it right completely? Okay. Who did not get it? Who had an error?
Yeah.
Where do you have an error,
I
Brock?
didn't put sine in front of the 60.
Okay.
And I had to sine 75 and 14.
Okay. So, two things, Brock. Number one, it's always got to be the sine ratio for everything. Second thing is, it's got to be side over angle or angle over side, but it has to stay the same all the way through. So side over angle, side over angle, side over angle. Or you could flip them.
Doesn't matter which way.
It doesn't matter which way, but it's got to be the same for all three. Yes. Okay? Yes, Austin.
You only use the like inverse, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
If the sign on top, right?
No, if you're looking for the angle. But if I'm looking for the angle, then I would put the angle on top. Okay, it's not necessary. Okay, let me show you this just for a second, just so that you guys understand this. If I didn't put that there, okay, so I'd have this. I'm trying to show you the easiest way, but I'm going to show you how it still works, but it's just more steps. So if this is the case right here where my A is on the bottom, I basically have to cross multiply. So I have to take 14 up, times it by sine 60. I have to take A up and times it by sine 75. Then how do I get A by itself? I have to divide this over to this side. So now I've got 14 sine 60 divided by sine 75 equals A. It's a lot more work, right? But it's still the same thing. Sine 60 times 14 divided by sine 75. 14 sine 60, 75.
So couldn't you just do it the reverse? Just do it like
That's what I'm saying.
14 times 60 and skip that step?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Brock. If I put it this way, if I put it where I'm always putting my missing variable on top.
Well, no, but even if it's the other way, you can just skip that step. Dividing.
Oh, you have it? No, I'm not dividing A out. I'm dividing sine 75 out. I have to get A up to the top. I can't solve for it if it's on the bottom of a fraction. Okay? So it is the same way, but it's a lot more work, right? So this is why I show you. If you're looking for one of the terms, always put it on top, and that eliminates one of your steps. Well, 3 steps, really. Okay? It's just a much easier way of doing it. Everybody okay? Do we need one more example, or we?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
One more? Okay, I'll make up one more, and then you'll have the rest of the period today to kind of go through that. Okay, so this one's a little more complicated because I'm looking for 2 angles now instead of 2 sides. So what does that instantly mean you have to do when you're doing this? Sine -1, that's right. Okay? So what I would suggest you do is set up your ratios right now. Set them up. Okay? And actually, let me lead you into this. I'm going to tell you I shouldn't do this. It's not a good teaching, but whatever. 12 over sine 42. That's what I got to use to solve for everything else. Or sine 42 over 12, whichever one it is. You can do it either way, but that's what you're going to use. Now go to work on it.
Yeah, we just practiced it. On a test, I don't necessarily need it, but the other reason is when it comes to trigonometry, if you're off by like tenth or hundredth of a decimal place, that can cause a lot of grief. So if you've got to use it again, for example, once you find this angle right here, you have to use it again. So then when you're using the trig for it, then it may skew your answer. So I suggest you go to 3 decimal places if you want to use it again. It's not great.
Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah.
I thought I heard that, and I looked up, nobody else was laughing, because oh, maybe she didn't say it.
No, she didn't.
Yeah, I heard that.
I said that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, so I looked up and I was like,
Oh, ask him how to use this.
yeah, so then you should one.
Right angle triangle.
Listen, the camera's on.
No, I said, oh, shift.
Oh,
Oh, shift, not
Oh.
shit.
that's what I thought it
Why do
was. Okay, yeah.
I'll give you that. You want to slug it.
You didn't go through, so, oh, that's me. I didn't watch it at all.
I think we should be so that. So proud.
Do we sit?
Whenever you show
Divided
them.
by-
Yeah, I was just gonna say, do we sit back?
If they always like nodding his head.
I got it.
You go with that. I mean, watching it.
So there's, so I've got that chord here.
Yeah, so it's a little like this and goes to,
It's a little guy.
Did you hear that?
This one's a USB. No,
This is,
you've yeah, you want that chord.
Okay, I'll come. Thanks, buddy.
No problem.
Wait, a little more.
This is one. But I just know you wrote this. 10 off. I was doing my hoodie today.
I thought I was gonna wear this too.
Oh.
We should have that.
Oh, you're right.
Grace. Oh, that's what it's gonna be a spirit thing.
You're like,
Okay, sorry. All right, so I walked around the room and the majority of you got off to the good start. You had, the majority of you had this, sine E over 15 equals sine 42 over 12. Okay, how many of us got that as our first step? Okay? Nope. Who didn't?
I had sine -1.
Yeah, you're all right. No. That's the process,
Okay.
Amron. But to set, and this is what you need to do, Amron. You have to set this question up like this to begin with. And then now do it. So now it's sine -1, 15 times sine 42 divided by 12. Okay? So what did we get for angle E?
56 decimal 763.
763. Much better. Much better. Good. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
About like 0.8. Yeah, that's not.
No one.
Okay, but here's,
function.
you didn't do your second function sine yet.
Your second function sine.
You did 15 times this divided by this, but you didn't do second function sine after it.
Good man.
Okay? All right? Okay, now, Tessa asked the question, do I need to have 3 decimal places when it comes to angles? The answer is yes. The reason is because now I need to solve f using this. And if I cut off my decimals, that side length is not going to be right. It's going to be off. So I want to have at least 3 decimal places. So angle F then is 180 minus 42 minus 56.763.
14.763.
14 point what?
I got 81.
I got 81
and 2.
81.237. That sounds right. The decimals line up to 1. Okay? For angle F. All right? So, the questions when you're looking for two angles is one of those ones where you find the first angle and then you use the 180 subtract the next time. You don't have to use the law of sines for that next angle. But you do need to use the law of sines now to solve for side F. So what's the ratio for side F? F over
Sine of 81.
sine of 81.237 equals
12 over sine
12 over sine 42, right, Brock? Okay. So what did side F equal?
17.724.
Very good. Very good. Okay. All right. How many of us got all three correct? Okay. So your error was not using the second function sine once you got the decimal. Okay.
I didn't have time to I just finished over.
Okay. Good enough. Anybody else have any comments about it to where you went wrong? We're okay, or do I? We're okay. All right. So 3-1 and 3-2. We want to get that going. We'll finish that off for sure on Monday if we're not already done by then. Okay, so you got 25 minutes today. Kind of go through all of 3-1. 3-1 is easy. They've set the ratios up. All you're doing is multiplying and dividing.
Oh, correct.
Okay? 3-1 and 3-2. All right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.